Wonderful. So good. Turn our attention to the peace which is the inherent peace of being. Welcome your experience as it is. So you are open. You are this openness. You are this welcoming. And you don't need to activate your mind to understand anything or figure anything out. Just sort of sink into presence, which is God's presence or the presence of consciousness. Which you are. You are this presence. So just for now, you can sort of press the pause button on the past, the future, your family, your work. To simply come fully to presence. So coming fully to presence is not something that you do. It's not an activity. Rather, is what we are. Not picking anything up. A thought arises, you don't need to pick it up. A sensation may appear, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to pick it up. You don't need to fix it, you don't need to push it away. No need to seek any particular experience or state. Everything that you reach for limits you. Whatever you strive for limits you. So as presence, there is no striving. Everything is effortlessly welcomed. Because there are no gates, no tolls to pay. It is out of the sense of personal self that you seek. It is out of this sense of me which is most often not noticed. That you seek, that you worry, that you feel concerned and defensive about. So many various things that you imagine to endanger you. While there is never any danger to I awareness. From the sense of me, the world is a minefield. A battleground of sort. It is this sense of me that we don't notice most often. It's from that sense of me that we meet each other without really meeting each other. We meet each other while we remain in our sense of me, in a separate sense, the bubble of isolation. It is from this sense of me that we grab onto things and hold on as if we fell off the boat in the ocean and holding onto a raft, piece of wood. The sense of me is a subtle hum. You get so used to it, like the hum of a fan, or you don't even notice it anymore, but it's there. Which is the idle. The idle setting of the belief that I am a mother, a father, a son, a daughter. This me feeling lives in your body. It got so habituated, you are so habituated to it that you don't notice it. But it's there. Sometimes you can notice it as observable contractions. But these observable contractions are just the peaks of the broader and wider contraction within your body-mind, which inhabits your somatic body at the cellular level. The sense of me is this belief that I'm a person, that inhabits your body as the me feeling. Behind the me feeling, maybe even throughout the me feeling, is the I awareness, the I am. And that's borderless and impersonal. The non-dual reality of being. The universal cosmic reality of being. And the me feeling is a reduction of this non-dual reality into some sort of vortex of identification as someone that's phenomenal, which is functioning in the world as a function within a realm of objects and situations. So the formless, borderless, non-dual reality is confused with the body-mind of mortality. And the very concern about ending and the ending of everything that I identify with. The fear of losing one's fortune, or losing one's children or family or partner. The fear of losing one's job. The fear of losing consciousness, as if that's ever possible. All these fears are intermingled into this me feeling. That is the mode of operation that we live. Although this me feeling may seem deeply rooted, it does not stand a chance in the face of your interest and love for truth. Because the non-dual reality of consciousness is absolute. While the me feeling is this feeble, belief structure, which is made out of thoughts that are thinner than clouds and sensations that are like mist within the body. questions, anything you would like to explore, please make sure you unmute your mic. Is there any questions? Any questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, thank you all, Holger, Richard, and Jenny.
Okay, not so fast, Magdi. Do you have time?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, no way. I want to soak in this presence for a little bit longer. So,
Okay.
Okay, so there's something that you said to me before that has taken on, I guess, just much deeper import recently. And that was, I think, one time I was saying, you're repeating the same thing to us over and over. It's like, doesn't that get tiring or something? And you said, actually, no, there's no repetition. It's all fresh and new in the moment. And so just that whole thing has been sinking in, that anytime I think that I know something, conceptually, it's a complete illusion. And so if you would just speak about that, that would be great.
Yes. Yes. In fact, when you take a look at your experience, not so much at what thought seems to be saying. If you look at your experience in this moment, it's always a completely fresh. I mean, like a 1,000% fresh moment. Yes, a moment of presence. And even when a thought about yesterday or 10 years ago, a thought arises. It arises freshly in this moment of what we refer to as awareness. So yes, the non-dual reality of consciousness is not in time. There is no time from the perspective of being, from the perspective of presence, meaning from the perspective of truth, from the perspective of reality. So in samsara, in ignorance, there is this belief and this feeling, of course, that I exist in a linear time dimension. And so it's as if I am a series of events that are coming from the past into the future. And so, of course, then from that perspective, we hold on to stuff. We hold on, well, to whatever the mind or we feel is good stuff. We hold on to memories, images, beliefs, feelings, and we also hold on to some imaginary rosy future. So, in other words, we give reality to that which is impermanent. We give reality to mind meaning thoughts, experiences, events, sensations, perceptions, memories, which are gone. They're completely gone. Whatever experience you had, where is it this moment, in this moment? Where is the 15-year-old body-mind in this moment? It's completely gone. But it's this belief that I am a physical entity, that I am somebody, some sort of form that's existing in time, that this illusion that there is a physical reality. So in ignorance, we're holding on to this body-mind, this material form, whether it's experiences, memories, objects, images. When you come to the contemplation of presence, meaning the reality of beingness in this moment, which is not in time and space, you find that there's nothing, there's no possibility to hold on to anything. There are no hands to hold on to anything. Neither is there a subject, a separate subject, nor separate objects. But there is understanding, you say. Understanding is non-phenomenal. So there can be understanding about the phenomenal realm. There can be an understanding about how the car functions, how to make a really nice apple pie, maybe an understanding about how to play musical instrument, but even the understanding about our phenomenal experience, the understanding itself is non-phenomenal. There is understanding. And because it's non-phenomenal, it's not in time. In other words, because it's not in time, there is no possibility of holding on to it, because it's non-phenomenal. And yet we cannot deny understanding. And understanding is absolute. Once we understand that 2 + 2 = 4 is an irreversible understanding about this phenomenal formula. So the understanding, we cannot hold on to it, but yet it's there. There where? Nowhere. Phenomenal. No phenomenal somewhere. It's there as presence, as knowingness, as intelligence, as wisdom, as understanding. It's real. Understanding is real. And it gives you a hint about the hint that understanding is non-phenomenal, that reality is non-phenomenal, because understanding is real and non-phenomenal, so reality is non-phenomenal. Understanding belongs to reality, to the camp of reality. So you don't need to do any activity to remember something or hold on to something. Understanding either is or isn't. If you don't understand how to make an apple pie, then the understanding is not there. But once you understand how to make an apple pie, or once you understand 2 + 2 = 4, that understanding is there. So either it is or it isn't. And of course, the understanding that really matters to us, above all, is the understanding about reality, about consciousness, about I, about what this is, what reality is. This meaning reality. Not so much what the table is, or what a house is, or what a wall is, or what a volcano is, or what a river is, or what an oak tree is. Okay, that's interesting too. No problem. But our interest above all is in understanding about consciousness. The understanding about consciousness is the same as understanding about 2 + 2 = 4. Once there is an understanding, it's absolute. And you don't need to hold on to it, because there's no one to hold on to an understanding. Either it is or it isn't. But when we are bringing with us the past and the future, the mind is cluttered. It's comparing, it's judging, it's analyzing, it's weighing things, it's figuring, oh, well, is it going to be good for me? How can I remember that? The mind is cluttered. And when the mind is cluttered, it interferes with the availability of the mind to hear, to listen, and to die into the understanding. So the understanding the path to the understanding is not so much a gathering of information. It's more sort of understanding the false, and in sort of seeing the false, that 2 plus 2 is not equal to 5. You count the oranges, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4. When you and the mind realizes that it's not 5, the false falls off, and the clarity is not veiled by the false. So in our
I can drop you off here. Yep.
in our contemplation about truth,
How you doing?
so in our contemplation about truth, it's similar in that we look into the beliefs, we examine the beliefs, the belief that I am a person, the belief that I, consciousness, is personal and limited to a body-mind, the belief that I exist in time, the belief that I am somebody that is made out of bundles of thoughts and memories and feelings and sensations and perceptions. So examine these beliefs which are on board. And as we examine them, there is understanding. Many, many different understandings. It's not just one understanding. And also, of course, we also look into the sensations, the realm of feelings that we experience as being very solid, very, very real, very iceberg-like, So there is a contemplation at the feeling level where you also go to the sensation, you go to the feeling, and you realize that it's a sensation, you go to the sensation, and all you find is awareness. You don't find any object called the sensation. You find just presence. And so For understanding, you don't need the past. You don't need the future. When you are with somebody and you're having a conversation and you are not really listening because you are in the past or in the future, it's not enjoyable. It's much more fun to be in company without the past and the future. And of course, without any images of myself or the other. To be as your reality, as your nakedness, a moment that is not in time. This moment is not in time. Consciousness is not in time. You follow?
Yes, Magdi, it's like this, just seeing that any bringing forward of any knowledge of I know this or whatever into this moment really destroys it.
Absolutely. Because
Fails it.
yes, because what is the I? What is the I that knows?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I awareness is all knowing. It's not like I know this and I know that, and oh my God, I don't know this and I don't know that. And it's fine to want to know, to have curiosity, and to have interest in various things. In our case, when we meet here, we have a shared interest in curiosity, more than curiosity, of course, about consciousness. But so that gives us the direction, you see. It gives us the direction to look in the right direction, because when you love swimming, you're going to look in the direction of going to the beach, or to the pool or whatever. So when we love consciousness, it gives us the direction to look in the direction of consciousness. And then you find that consciousness is that which is looking. And it's already there, you see. You don't need an accumulation of knowledge to know yourself, be yourself, right? Because
Yeah. In fact, it's like dump all that stuff.
right, yes, you dump all that stuff, right? You dump, right? Anything that you can dump is dumpable, right? That which is not dumpable, no matter how hard you try to dump it, you cannot dump it. And there is only one candidate that is undumpable, and that's consciousness, right?
Yes. And so when you were saying understanding is absolute, so that is always present and seemingly is veiled. Like it's like, then if understanding of 2 + 2 is 4 is absolute, that means
Yes.
it has to be here always.
Yes.
So that this seeming learning that 2 and 2 is 4 is just an illusion.
Well, once there is the understanding that 2 + 2 = 4, you have to go to the next thing now, that the square root of whatever 14 is 4, whatever it is. You have to go to, because in the contemplation of consciousness, although we may get the understanding, meaning like an insight into the reality of consciousness and the illusion of the separation, this glimpse, in a way, it introduces you, it introduces you to the subject. It's like you are studying algebra and there is an introduction course to algebra and introduces you. There is understanding, of course, but it's not there is more to it than the glimpse into truth. The glimpse into our true nature is an understanding. It is absolute, but it is not the absolute understanding. In other words, you can understand some things about the computer, but there is more to the understanding than just an initial understanding or a partial understanding. So a glimpse into consciousness is like seeing a facet of the diamond, but not the full diamond. Now, the fact that you saw a facet of the diamond is absolute in that you have not seen a piece of coal or a piece of quartz. You did see the diamond, but there is more to it. So, in terms of if understanding is absolute, then why, if that's your question, then why are we still sort of on the path? Why are we seeking further understanding, let's say? Is because there is more than one understanding.
Okay, that wasn't my question, but I'm curious. But okay, so I think my question was more literal, and it's more just seeing now, like what I've heard, that once, of course, it's like all this knowledge is already absolutely known, but I guess because it's from the absolute, correct? I think
Yes.
that's what I'm getting at. So, but different body minds like wouldn't, although I've heard, like as the personhood dissolves, it's like then it's like that becomes clear. Oh, of course, but not, I guess different body minds pick up different things. I don't know. I think that was, it was like a literal question, trying to understand how like someone would know all this. Well, and not someone, but I can't find, use the words.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, please go ahead with what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's many different understandings.
Yes. Now, among the understandings about consciousness is the understanding that it's not the body mind. The body mind is not the veil or an obstacle or an issue for consciousness. So it's more the identification with the body mind. Now, as a metaphor, you could say that there are many fruits on the tree. some fruits, when you come to pick them up, you have to pull a little harder. Others, you just pick them and they sort of almost fall in your hand, as a metaphor. But I'm not sure that it's actually a good metaphor, because it's important to understand that what we are, irrespective of the belief structures and how the mind is operating, we are this presence, we are this awareness. So that's the reality of all minds, and it's our reality. And this recognition requires for grace to somehow come. And obviously, in our case, there is grace, because here we are talking about consciousness, and which would bore the hell out of millions of people.
Oh my God. And yes, Magdi, it's such huge grace.
Yes, it's a huge grace.
To find a way out of suffering. Yeah.
Yes, a huge grace. Yeah. And what matters is that we honor the grace that comes to us. God's invitation, we honor it. Of course, God invites everybody. Everybody's invited in different ways, even through some suffering or a lot of suffering. There is God's hand in there, sort of telling you, no, you don't want to go in that direction. That's pretty miserable. It's not the way. Suffering tells you it's not the way. You see. But I'm not sure that I'm speaking like fully to your question, because I somehow feel that I haven't fully comprehended your question. So I'm speaking sort of maybe.
Well, to tell you the truth, now I've forgotten what my original question was. But I think you did speak to it. I can't even rewind to that, but okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's okay.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think, it's just this whole thing of recognizing that everything is so fresh and new. And
yes.
When I think that I have some knowledge, I'm bringing it into this freshness and newness, and it dulls it completely.
Yeah. Knowledge, the wisdom doesn't need you. It is God's wisdom shining through you, whichever way God wishes it, if you don't mind me speaking in that sort of religious way.
No, I don't mind that at all. And yes, and it's like just recognizing, gosh, there's really nothing for me to do but be quiet.
Right. I mean, in a way, you can't prevent yourself from loving God, from loving truth. So that's what, at some point, we can't leave that. We're on that train. We cannot leave that train. So that we can do, because it's being done through us in a way. We love truth, and in a way that's all we need to do. I mean, this is all what really matters, because love for truth is what guides us to truth.
Yeah, like you said, honoring that touch of grace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's God's grace, and God knows best. And so here we are available. We are not in the way. We don't have a personal agenda or addendum. We are here available. Use me as you may, but don't use me for my personal benefit. Use me as you may. But there is no personal benefit anyway. That's the erroneous thinking, the erroneous model. Because we are not separate. We are not separate. How can we be separate? Here we are, right here, right now. We're not separate. It's the proof of it. And we're never separate. We've never experienced an ounce of true separation. Only we experience is the illusion of separation. And the illusion of separation, once we have an interest in truth, is on a time clock.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Magdi.
It sounds like you are out for a walk. Is that?
I am.
Oh,
you know, we had 25 below zero like a week ago.
Yeah.
We got hit with the polar blast. So now today is like 40 degrees right now. It feels like spring. Yeah.
Okay. Enjoy your walks away.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes. Hello, Richard.
I guess the first thing I'll say is, even when there's not a question for a few minutes, we're not trying to rush you off. I think
Richard, sorry to interrupt you. Can you raise your volume a little bit, or maybe it's no?
Maybe I'll get closer.
Oh, okay. Yes, better. Yes.
Yeah. So, sometimes when there's a pause after your meditation, we're not trying to get rid of you. I think we just like to be with you and to each other. So.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay.
I did have a question, thanks to Zoe, sort of brought to mind something that I've been thinking about. And I guess my question is, maybe you're speaking metaphorically, or maybe you're not. Like, for example, when you talk about the understanding of how to make apple pie, and the understanding 2 + 2 is 4. Is it the case that the understanding of I am is that the same? Is it the same sort of understanding, or is it a different kind of understanding, or maybe
it is understanding is understanding. There are no forms of understanding. What there is the understanding. What the understanding is about. The topic, the subject of the understanding can vary. There may be understanding about how certain machinery works, understanding how to build, there is phenomenal understanding, and there is noumenal understanding. The noumenal understanding is the understanding about consciousness, about reality, about truth, about what's going on, what is reality. So science is interested in the understanding about reality, about manifestation. There's a difference between finding an explanation about how something works, and an understanding. There is a difference in that when you are trying to understand how something works, you're looking at relationships. how this relates to that, and if you do this and do that, and this is what happens. You repeat it 100 times, and you say, okay, well, that's it. That's how it works, you know. And that is also an understanding. So the understanding, the phenomenal understanding, whichever form it's taking, the topic, the subject of the understanding is different from the understanding about consciousness. But the understanding itself is the same. Now, understanding, as a way of speaking about it, there is a pre-understanding and a post-understanding. Pre-understanding, the understanding is absent. So there is a process of thinking, of inquiring, of looking, of testing, of investigating, that is pre-understanding. And that applies to any topic. At some point, at some stage of the inquiry and gathering data and seeking information, at some point, there is the understanding, meaning the pre-understanding phase has accomplished its purpose as a way of speaking. Boom, there is the understanding. After the understanding, things are different. Before the understanding and after the understanding, there is a different panorama, a different scenery. Before the understanding was absent. After the understanding is present, and it's changed. It changed it's not the same. But understanding, irrespective of what it is about, is not a mind activity. There are mind activities and mind functions that precede the understanding. And there are mind functions and mind activities that post understanding. But the understanding is not a mind activity. Understanding, one could say, is more an insight or a peek. It's a peek in truth, a peek into truth. There is one truth, only one truth, one reality. So one could say that because there is one reality, there is one truth, irrespective of what the subject is about, that peak is a moment of truth. Even the understanding 2 + 2 = 4 is a moment of truth. It's sort of a visit into God's garden. Sort of you're suddenly in God's garden, and then you're back into the world. Why? You're back into the world because the visit into God's garden was not about God. The visit into God's garden was about figuring out if 2 + 2 = 4 or 2 + 2 = 5. Because the topic of interest or the topic of study was a phenomenal topic. Okay, the visit into God's garden is a very fleeting. But when you are studying God, when you're studying truth, when you're studying consciousness, and you have an understanding about consciousness, you are also visiting God's garden, and you stay longer. You stay longer. The way you know that you stay longer is that post-understanding, you still have the perfume. You have a perfume of that visit. Of course, 2 + 2 = 4. When you understand 2 + 2 = 4, you say, "Oh, darn! I'm so happy. All this time I thought 2 + 2 = 5. Now I get 2 + 2 = 4. You're really happy, but it doesn't have much of a perfume. It doesn't have much of a perfume. Or if it does have a perfume, it's not a lasting perfume like the perfume of the understanding about consciousness."
May I ask a follow-up question? Because I think you've helped me to distinguish. I had a question, I guess, which you weren't addressing, which is about all true things, or glimpses of true things, or glimpses of one truth.
Yes.
I wanted to go back to maybe the other part of my question that I think you helped me to bring out more clearly. Sort of if there is a relationship, or if there is some sort of call it relationship between the mind activities that are sort of like in the association. Let me ask one question to clarify my next question.
Okay.
Are mind activities, mental activities, are they associated with phenomenal observations and with phenomenon exclusively?
Well,
Is it what the mind associates with?
you know, so the activities of the mind that are about love, about truth, about happiness, about beauty, about consciousness are reified, they're purified by their topic of interest. So when the mind is contemplating truth, love, and beauty, it's opening itself directly towards truth, love, and beauty, which are non-phenomenal. This would be more like a turning your attention towards the light. But when the mind activities are about phenomena, what I mean by phenomena, I'm including, feelings and personal thoughts and personal memories about. Yes, when the mind is turning its attention towards phenomena, and a belief is a phenomenal aspect of. It is as if, let's say you are in a cave and there is a light in the darkness. To have your interest into the light, to go towards the light out of the tunnel, would be equivalent to your interest into truth or into love and beauty, freedom. But let's say that the light casts some shadows on some of the walls of the cave, and you become interested into those forms and those shapes. That would be equivalent to the mind's interest in the phenomenal aspect of your interest, is a phenomenon. And so you're not going to go towards the light in that case, but you will gain some understanding about those paintings on the walls or whatever it is that you are looking at. But in relationship, it's helpful, using the metaphor that I just used, to be interested in the light. In the light meaning in the love, in the freedom. freedom for everybody included, not just my own, you see, including my own, of course. And, you know, the honor, the intelligence of it. So that's important, to be looking in the direction of the light in our life, in everything we do, at work. So you could engage the mind in the world, because you are engaged in the world. We are all engaged in the world as the light, bringing in the light, you know, from the light. Now, the light meaning from a place of love and honor and fairness and intelligence and globality, not just a personality, not just our personal self.
Yeah, the allegory of the cave is my favorite story. So yes, that helped. That's very helpful. Yes,
See,
thank you.
The mind is an exquisite tool, you say, but how we direct it, how we use it, and it's difficult to use the mind as the correct way when we are also not inquiring into our belief that I am a person. The belief that I'm a person weakens our capacity to use the light and to be the light in our life. So when we say I, what do we mean by I? When we are feeling I, what do we mean by I? When we are perceiving I, what is this I that we're perceiving? The I that is phenomenal, meaning that's observable, is not the real I. It's not the absolute I. It's not the I of the I am. It's not God's I. It is the shadow. It's just a painting on the wall. That's very important. Very important. And that's something that you can do internally within yourself. You know, whenever you are drawn to that. What do I mean by, you know, I'm feeling irritated. Okay, what is this I that's feeling irritated? Okay, yes, okay, there is irritation, means okay, there is some sensation there is sensation. I'm not going to deny that. My heart is pounding and I feel pressure in my head. Okay, fine. But I am irritated. What is the I that is irritated? You see, when you ask what is the I, you're not denying the experience of whatever sensory experience you're having. But the fact that there is a sensory experience, and then I am defined by the sensory experience. No, I'm perceiving. I mean presence, awareness, perceiving. Yes, I'm perceiving something within the body mind. And then there is something else that says, this shouldn't be. This shouldn't be. That I, that's the I, the quotes unquote false I that comes and says, this shouldn't be. So I can also see that I, meaning awareness. I can notice that. I can notice, it's very interesting. There is a situation here, and there is also some conversation going on that I really don't like, that I don't want that. This shouldn't be happening to me. Okay, just to notice that, because the discernment about the falsehood is very important. Because if you don't discern the falsehood, it appears to be to you to be real. Oh my God, look what's happening to me. Oh my God, why did she do this to me? Why did he do this to me? It seems to be real. And then you are on the wrong train, you know. But what's nice about being on the wrong train is you can get off anytime. Anytime you go, okay, fine. I see it. It's awful. I don't like it. Fine, I got it. But I'm okay. I'm here. I'm here as presence. Not I'm here as presence. Fine, I'm here. Okay, fine. So there is a pie in the face or whatever there is. Okay, fine, that's to the face. Okay, I get it. I'm here as presence, you see. So that getting off the train that's the magic. That you can get off the train anytime you think of truth, of reality, of what is it that perceives. That's absolute. And that has no name. That's not Magdi. It's not a person. You see, you can call the body Richard. You can call the mind Richard. You can call the house Richard's house, whatever. But that doesn't apply to consciousness. To call it by any name, you see.
Thank you, Magdi. That was all very, very helpful, and in particular, just the idea of like the best use of the mind is to ask, you know, from where do I get this idea of the self, and to put the mind to that use. Sure,
of course, yes. You see, the mind can be a compadre, can be a partner for you, you know.
I feel like very often it's not. So I'm trying to find ways to turn it to these.
Yeah. No, don't make any enemies. No, don't set anything apart. You know, let things be available to you, because everything that appears to you is completely available to you. Otherwise, it won't appear to you. It's available to you, not you are available to it. It's completely available to you. So no, don't remain. Whatever appears, yes. No argument with the mind. Beautiful, lovely. Yeah. Actually, I don't know what it is, but maybe this is the mind. You know, it's the mind. This is consciousness. Absolutely, consciousness is the I. The awareness is. The mind is the sound of the hum of the refrigerator, the lights, the sound of the voice, seeing Richard, etc. Yeah, no adversaries.
No adversaries. Thank you, Magdi. Thank you for sticking around a little bit to
Okay. 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 Well, okay. Thank you all. Very lovely to be with you all. And Holger, Jenny. Hey, Jenny. Richard. George. Hey, John. Hello, Holly. Hello, Holly. Gabby. Hello, Gabby. And Ginny. Hey, Ginny. And Lena. Hello, Lena and Kelly. Hey, Kelly.
Hi. Thank you.
Frank and Zoe. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you.
Magdi.
Enjoy your walk. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, namaste all.